And welcome back. It's Carl here again, also known as Talk Show Host, doing my second in my jumping into multiplayer guide. Wanted to get into Hearthstone this time. I'm a big fan of Hearthstone. I did not expect myself to become a huge fan of Hearthstone, although it does kind of make sense. I did play Magic the Gathering when I was really young. This is not. It's kind of funny. When I did first hear about this game, I was really like, "Oh yeah, could be fun." But I was kind of disappointed because I was hoping for something bigger from Blizzard. But I mean, the game is just so simple. Like they say, it's easy to get into, but the difficulty scales up quite a bit. So I'm trying to make this guide to help new players who are interested in the game. Obviously, it's free, so that's always awesome. Go download it, and you can try it out for free. Highly recommend doing that. Um, there's the game is simple, but there's just a few like easy things that you can do to really help yourself out in terms of gathering information. And one of the first things that you can really do um, is going to the My Collection tab here, and then immediately hit crafting mode. And like, here's where you are basically going to look for what the cards are. You should kind of look through all these. Like, obviously, here's all the classes, and then here's all the neutral cards here. Look through these cards. You just put your cursor right here and page through them, and just read. Like kind of get to know them a little bit. You'll see ones grayed out here that you don't have, um, and those are even more important because that's like the things you're going to run into, and you can kind of need to know how they operate and how to react to them. Trying to find some more ones I don't have. There's one. Other ones. Of course, the nice thing about this game also too is that if you have extra cards, uh, they're not worthless. Like you don't have to like turn them in or try and sell them like you would with a physical trading card game. You can actually just hit crafting mode here. Oop, hit crafting mode again. Right here now it's grayed out because I don't have any extra cards. But if you do have cards above 2 that are you can't use anymore, it'll have an option here right here that says disenchant extra cards. Click that, and then it'll start giving you this dust here with this arc, and it's just like disenchanting. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, you can create things with the dust that you save up. Like, for instance, if I wanted to create, where's King Mukla? King Mukla here, I'm going to need 1600 dust. Now, this guy's legendary, so legendary is obviously the highest class of card in the game, so that's going to take quite a bit to unlock. Whereas, let's say if I wanted to make a Jungle Panther, that thing's only 40 dust. So pretty easy. Um, I highly recommend, if you're going to go to the free-to-play route, then find a class or a deck that cards that you're interested in and that you think work well together, and then craft the best deck for one or two classes. Don't try to do everything at once if you're going 100% free to play. If you just refuse to, give money to Blizzard. But I will say that if you've downloaded the game and you've been playing it for like 2-3 weeks and you really enjoy it, you keep coming back to it and trying to get those dailies done. I really, and this is not like obviously I'm a fan of Blizzard, but go ahead and buy the 40 packs. This is my recommendation, official talk show host recommendation. Buy 40 packs. It's the regular price you'd pay for a full length game or a full AAA title or whatever. Not that much money compared to like a lot of other trading card experiences. Obviously, now this is what I'm recommending. Do this and only do this one time. You can get into doing a black hole of never-ending 2 or 7. Just do this. Or if you're really, baller status, buy the 60 pack one time. This way, what it'll do, and you can buy either classic or the goblins and versus gnomes cards right now. What this will do for you, it will just open up so many options in terms of what you can create, what decks you can do. You can play more classes, which is always fun. Play more classes, a lot of different ways, and make different decks, make joke decks. You can have a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, you'll have a lot of extra cards you can kind of disenchant and make whatever you want out of. I think the first time I did this, I got about 2 or 3 legendaries, and that was like all I needed to like start going into it. And then from there on in, I just like you'll do your daily quests. You'll get a quest log here. You can see my hot statistics on all my characters. Do these quests, and you'll start earning gold. You know, I like that they um, included the option to purchase their adventures with gold. You can buy these and play through them. So, and you'll earn these cards by playing through these. These can be purchased with gold. The next one is coming out soon. It can be purchased with. It should be able to be purchased with gold. You can't pre-order with gold, but you will be able to purchase it with gold. Yeah, for me, I've kind of sworn off pre-ordering for 2015, so I'm not going to be paying $25 just to get this card back. Even though I will admit it is a sexy card back. Very cool. Um, so I'm not sure. Well, we'll get into that more. But anyway, that's what you need to know about buying or spending money in the game. But like I said, you don't have to. If you're really just more casual in it and aren't playing too often, you come back to it maybe once a week or whatever. Then go free to play and just craft. Craft what you think you need. Craft what you think will work together. Look for cards that gel and combo well together. And the other big thing is going to be arena. Um, it's like the best way for anybody really, like to earn more cards and earn more gold and earn more dust within the game. Play arena. Like, do not buy. Obviously, if I go back into the shop here, I can buy a pack of cards with 100 gold, but it's not. It's better, and you will learn the game more if you pay the 150 gold and go into the arena. So I'm gonna do a little bit of an arena. It's gonna be kind of an arena focused video because I think it is super important uh, towards building your decks and building your collection. For me, I love playing this game. Part of my one of the things I really love the most about this game is the golden cards, the animated cards. I love them all. Like, and you can go through and disenchant ones for a lot of dust. Say you get a golden normal that you don't need. I think I had one over here. Any of these. Well, some of them you can't because you'll earn them through leveling. This guy, I could disenchant him and get 50 dust for that. Pretty good, but you know what? I like him. Look at this guy. He's so happy and he's got the animation. I think they're cool. So I'm big into the collecting. I don't just want to. That's partially why I don't want to just like keep paying over and over again. I do like the collecting aspect. Just another word for the pros or pro tip. If you go back into my collection, go into crafting mode and hit show only golden cards, you can craft your favorite golden card for like a ridiculous amount of dust. Let's see what a golden. Where's a good golden legendary here? Golden Gruel, 32,000 dust. So that's no problem, guys. You got that. Look at him though; he's cool. If you want to check out more stuff like this, more multiplayer guides or reviews, check out GameAnon.com. You can follow me on Twitter there at CarlHouts, which you should do. And here we go. So this is what it's going to look like. You pay 150 to get in. You have 3 heroes to choose from. And then you're going to have 3 cards each time. And it's going to be kind of like a football draft. So, yeah, here we go. I'll just kind of go through it with you. I'm choosing Matter Bomber here because it can be very good. I like the randomness of it. 6 damage, in addition to having a card out, is pretty good. Imp Master or Azure, these are all really good, these 3. Spell power a little bit nicer with Mage. Frostbolt or Mana Worm, one of the others. Either one is good. Frostbolt or Arcane Intellect. Good to have. You need to have some card draw. And you definitely need to have probably you should aim for like 8 or 9 minions that cost 1 to 2 mana. Flame Strike is probably the most broken card in the game. 7 mana, and 4 does 4 damage to everything on the opponent's board. Way too powerful. That card should be legendary, and you should always take it. This is why I'm taking Mage in Arena. Mage is, I've found to be extremely powerful in Arena. So, yeah, and you'll kind of see why with this draft. Getting some Arcane Explosion, some Freeze. Again, more 2-drops. Out of these 3, I like the Blizzard. Yeah. They're all pretty good. Kazan Mystic is less good because you have to go. It's only really good if you have an opponent who has a secret out, which you don't see too often in Arena. You'll see secrets way more in constructed play than you will in Arena. Not to say that they're not there, but the chances of you running into a class, I guess they're the same, but the chances of you running into a class and them having secrets and them being out, it gets lower. It gets lower value than you know that a blizzard will eventually be useful. See, I don't have any 3-drops. I'm looking, do I want a 3-drop or a fireball removal? Took the 3-drop there. 4-drop, pretty good to have a silence, at least one silence in any arena. Drafting, gotta have a 1-drop. At least one 1-drop. That's a pretty good one. Destroying weapons can also be really good in arena. This death rattle to draw a card for the opponent, good minion for 3 mana, but the drawback makes it slightly worse than the Swamp Ooze there. Mirror Image, really good time buyer, and here's the thing. I'm gonna spoiler alert. This arena I did get the maximum amount of wins with, so I did go 12 wins with this deck, which is why I'm featuring the draft here. It must have done something right with this draft. This battle cry on this Kodo to kill an enemy minion right when you play it is too good to ignore. I do like the spell damage in a mage, but that battle cry is really good. Pretty sure I'm taking that guy. So yeah, I'm kind of lacking in the late game cards right now. Big, so you gotta have a couple really big end game minions, and this one was a pretty good one. Here's another pretty, see these ones are too secret dependent. I only have 1 secret. I don't want to rely on them being amazing only if I have a secret out, so that's why I'm taking another big late game guy there. Here, I'm thinking I need 1 more 3-drop. And for 4 for 3 is pretty good, even if you do draw your opponent a card. I do have the silence, I could silence it possibly. Water Elemental is probably the best class minion in the game. It's 9 stats of 9 worth of stats for 4 mana, 3 attack, 6 health for 4 mana, and a freeze effect, which is really good. I'm thinking about my card draw. I have 2 Arcane Intellects already, so I do not need that card draw. 1 more late game body. I don't have a ton of 6 drops. I've only got that Blizzard right there, so I'm going to take that Frost Ellie. Okay. These are not great. The South Sea Deckhand is okay in Rogue. Actually, it's pretty amazing in Rogue and Warrior, but not really good in any other classes, so just doing another Arcane Explosion, even though they're not great. 1 Polymorph or 1 hard removal card. That one, I mean, it costs 4 mana, which is pretty big. It's a pretty big commitment to cast that spell. Same thing with like Assassinate and Rogue. I wouldn't take more than 1 in any constructed or arena draft. These cards, I would take the Murloc War Leader if I had a ton of Murlocs. The Clockwork Giant, I don't like relying on my opponent having cards in hand because oftentimes that card has bitten me in the ass and just become completely unplayable. Not great. No Murlocs, so it's going to be the Faceless Manipulator. Here we are at 11 wins with my sweet draft deck. I do have 2 losses, but yeah, I'm like, this is like go time. Like it's live to win till you die time right now in the arena. And arena, I mean, you cannot be gimmicky in arena. You just can't. You have to board control. You have to watch out. You have to play around certain things. This is why I talked about in the beginning of this video, going through and looking at all the cards, at least, before you jump way into the game. Look at all the cards and kind of understand what they do. Very important. So here we go. I did spoil it, but get to see what happens. And I talked in my StarCraft guide about not giving up, and this game, I'm remembering it now, is a perfect illustration of that. Like, I get this guy My mind's in many places at once. I'm looking at this dude. This dude pre-ordered. See, this is the sweet card back he got for pre-ordering for $25. I don't know if it's worth it or not. You guys tell me if that's worth that card back is for $25 because you're gonna be able to buy it with gold eventually anyway. But yeah, like you'll see, I get super far behind in this game, and it's really looking sad. And yeah, don't stop fighting because it's a game. Even if you're down, you know, that little bit of fighting to come back will teach you quite a bit, and sometimes you might even come back and win. So here I have the option to throw out the Shattered Sun, but I'm gonna save that, I think, because the battle cry is pretty good. It's typically not good to waste battle cries. I mean, it's either play here is decent, the duplicate or the Shattered Sun, I think. But I just decided to do the duplicate early because I'm also he pretty easily took care of my 3-2 there. So I just want to make sure I have cards for the late game. That's the big thing. Right here. This thing is not a huge threat. I can afford to just take the damage. You know, if I throw out my Shattered Sun, worst case scenario, it gets like destroyed somehow, and then he heals to draw a card. It could end up very bad. Coin coming out here. This dude gets... Oh, he stole my Arcanus explosion, that's right, and this is not what I wanted to do. I did not want this one drop duplicated, and this flesh-eating ghoul is going to be a real issue. So now I'm kind of torn. Maybe I should have Matter Bombered here. Honestly, this game was a couple days ago, and I don't exactly remember the play-by-play. But, yeah, the Kodo gets thrown. I remember this now. I didn't throw the Matter Bomber because I can't count on it to hit. It's only doing 6, and it could hit me or him too. So that way, then what could have happened is he could have killed this, healed something, gained a card, and hit me in the face. Where I figured with this might trade. Track of the damage this flesh-eating ghoul does to me. That's 4 right there. There's the buff on my Kodo. I realize, oh well, this thing's just gonna grow, and hopefully I'll be able to deal with it down the line somehow. Another good tip for Hearthstone in general is don't play way too quickly. Like, look at the board, look at your options, think about them all, think about the trades that are going to happen. You ideally want to kill his things, take damage, but leave your board alive at the end of the day. This is just brutal. At this point, like, I'm dejected. And, like, look at this, at 14 health. The 30 at turn 7 is really looking bad here, so Frost Ellie to buy time. But it's, yeah, looking sad. But here's the thing, don't give up. Like, this would be a bad time for Rage Quit, because you're saying there's a chance, and now it looks even worse, but there's still a chance. I can't remember what happened. No, I'm just gonna watch this and relive the glory. Another thing you have to constantly be doing in this game is the math. Make sure you count out your mana before you do any move. make sure you think about the entire order of the turn before your move is made, and then execute it. Often, what I'm doing right here is making sure I draw cards before... Often when you have a draw card mechanic, you want to use it before anything else happens that turn. Throwing up my mirror image, that is so nice right now. I do not want to take 6 damage to the face right this second. Oh, here we go. Flame Strike. This is... You're going to learn a little bit about Flame Strike right now. I remember this. Both of those Cult Masters, if they die, they give 3 health to another friendly minion. So you have to make sure they die at the same time, and that the board is cleared, which luckily I'm able to do right now. Yeah, now here's where you do not want to Flame Strike first. I was thinking about sending my Worgen in, but I'm like, oh, I have the spell damage, everything takes 5 damage. Now nothing gets buffed, and we start hitting the face. Now I'm in a really good position. This is how good Flame Strike is. It's like all the advantage he had, it's completely gone now. He has to fight back against these 3 minions, and if he can't, then the game is over, and I'm pretty sure... It doesn't matter how much health he has, like at the end of the day, he can try to burst me down, but there's a lot less burst potentials in Arena than there is in Constructed. Spell damage on my Arcane Explosion, doing 2 damage to all minions. And that, I mean, that's seriously like game over. I've done way too much damage to him. I'm just gonna outcard him at this point. Too much damage. Not gonna waste the Frostbolt. You want to save that's like a removal spell or an oh shit spell. The only time you want to be using Frostbolt or any sort of direct damage spell on the face is like the turn you can kill them. Otherwise, use it on a minion. Pretty nice silence target here. These death rattles. Any death rattle is a good silence target. So silence, no more death rattle, no more taunt. Pretty sure that's what happens. I think I do my card draw first. To see what my options are. You know. And just remove. That's good too. Not using the 2-1. Guy's still alive, he can do 2 damage next turn. Doing the card draw at the end, because I'm way ahead of this, like way ahead of this. Make sure I clear his board and then improve my board. That taunt, yep, a lot of work there. Very helpful that I didn't take 6. There you go, he just rage quits. It might have been a time for him, like he was still at 19 health. He could have gotten some draws that could have gotten him out of that, but it was like, he had 2 turns. I think he should have stayed in the game, but there's my 12 wins. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That guy, he didn't have to leave right there. He had 2 turns worth of draws, and you might as well. I mean, you might as well see like what happens. You never know. You could draw a taunt. You could draw a hard removal. Look at this gold. Look at what I'm getting from 12 wins. This is why I'm recommending 2 packs, by the way. This is why I always recommend to do arenas, because you're going to get gold cards, you're going to get dust, you get a ton of gold, and I'm getting 2 packs right here. So these packs, who doesn't love a pack opening video, even though there's something amazing in these packs. Love an Ogre Ninja. Ooh, Matter Bomber. There you go, guys. This is why I wanted to focus on Arena. Like, the whole game is like Arena can be your ticket into making better decks for Constructed. If I go into Constructed here, you know, you can kind of go on in terms of Constructed play. I like to kind of like, okay, sometimes I will just, okay. The thing is with net decking, everyone, like anyone who's played a trading card game knows about net decking, which is exactly what it sounds like. You go online, you find a deck, you copy it exactly, and play with it, which there are reasons that net decking becomes popular because people find combinations in cards, but it will also eventually be the downfall of the deck, because once the deck becomes so well known, then literally when you play your first card on the board, your opponent will know your entire deck back, like front to back, because they've played it so often. So another good tip is if you net deck, which, you know, fine. I've looked up decks, I look up decks all the time, and it's like, find ones that like to play, for one. You like to be aggressive. Here's one that's similar to a net deck that I did, or that I kind of found and borrowed from. We'll call it that. Find these decks. Obviously, not everybody, if they're just starting out, has every single card in a deck that's listed. So you have to find the oddball cards that are going to kind of throw your opponent off, your tech cards that are meant for one thing. Big Game Hunter is a great tech card. Destroy a minion with Battlecry is destroy a minion with attack of 7 or more. Insanely good attack card, and because there's so many large health, legendary, and just big minions, another really good tech card that I'm seeing a lot more of, and I've always been a fan of, is, let me find this guy. Now, Hobgoblin is one. If you can find a lot of one-attack minions and put them in a deck, then Hobgoblin, I've seen really sick decks from Hobgoblin, but the one I'm thinking of is Mind Control Tech. If your opponent has Battlecry, if your opponent has 4 or more minions, take control of one of them. Literally a mind control, and was by far my favorite spell ever from World of Warcraft. It saddens me that they made it a talented thing. I still think that every priest should be able to mind control. And if you like mind controlling, you should definitely play the priest class, because there's a lot of fun mind control cards, like Cabal Shadow Priest, where Battlecry take control of an enemy minion that has 2 or less attack. You can do some really sick combos. One of my favorite combos is do this guy. Where's this guy at? Where's this guy? Oh, he's not in my deck. Oh, that's sad. Well, you know what? I'm going to redo this. This is actually giving me pause. Shrinkmeister. This dude. Give a minion -2 attack this turn. So picture this. There's a 4/5 on the board. You play Shrinkmeister, now it's a 2/5, and now you play Cabal Shadow Priest on turn 8, that would have to be. And now that 4/5 is yours. Pretty good stuff. Yeah. In terms of legendaries, there's a lot of good ones, but if you're going to craft one, you finally save up 1600 dust, and you're going to craft one, you really want to craft one, I've got to say that Sylvanas is probably one of the top. It's still like top 5 legendaries. Sylvanas Windrunner. When it dies, you steal an opponent's minion, a random one. You want to play obviously when they have stuff on the board, and when they can't clear her right away. Even if you can't, even if they don't have anything on the board though, or you think she's going to get silenced or destroyed, it's a really big body or big threat to throw out. Just a great card. Another couple of my favorite. Let's gonna go through legendaries. Dr. Boom is obviously like one of the best right now. He's kind of getting shut down, or he can get shut down because a lot of people do run Big Game Hunter. Look at this, another deck with Big Game Hunter. I use this in a lot of decks because so many people are running this card. But I do like Dr. Boom quite a bit. Those boom bots deal 1 to 4 damage to a random enemy. I do love Kel'Thuzad. If you want to play him, basically when you play him, the end of that turn, everything will kind of come back in. Come back into play. Anything that died will come back to life. But I realize I'm running long in this video. I'm going to cut it off right now. I want to thank you guys so much for paying attention and learning a little bit. And please, if you have any questions or you want tips on decks or deck building or how to play a certain deck, stuff like that, I do stream somewhat often. And if you want to see more of my arena runs, I can always post those as well. I do have a lot of them recorded, but haven't done voiceover for them. thanks again for watching. Check out GaminOn.com when you get a second, and keep on gaming on. Cheers.